Hi, everyone, and welcome to I Created a Life I Love podcast. My name is Christine Spindler Denton. This is episode 3, and I am so excited because today we have with us the amazing, the incredible Jeanette Rodriguez.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jeanette. I am so happy to be with you guys here today.
Yay! We're so happy to have you. I cannot tell you. I guess we should do a little history quick and then we'll kind of do our what's up for the week and what's happening. But just to let everybody know, Jeanette and I met both working for LAUSD. We became friends there and we're actually like worked right across from each other, and it was wonderful. And now that's all changing, and we started talking and realized that I'm on this journey, as I know I've discussed with you guys, regarding getting through cancer and changing a lot of things in my life, kind of being introspective and looking at my life very differently. Once you get a diagnosis of like that, it changes everything. So that I started on this journey, and Jeanette and I were talking about it, and she's on a similar journey of changing everything in her life, just very
Yes.
differently. Thank goodness, not with anything like cancer, right? But changing everything. So tell us what you're changing in your life. They've heard a little about me and me going through this cancer journey. So, what journey are you on?
The journey that I'm currently on is that I am moving my whole life to a whole different state with my husband and my dog. We decided that, California is not feasible anymore just due to the expenses of, trying to pay for rent. And then also my husband is doing a new business over here in Nevada. So we decided to move to Las Vegas, Nevada. Yay.
Yay! How exciting. I mean, that's a whole new start. I mean, leaving,
Yes.
because I know you're both leaving your entire families, not only friends, families, you both grew up, everyone you know is in California.
California. Yep. And so it's a huge transition. I'm currently on leave for my previous employer, and I am also just trying to figure out what I want, for the moving forward in Vegas. So it's a journey.
Yeah, well, I think what's so cool that you're doing in your journey is both of us are the similarities. We can start with a couple of similarities that we're both looking career wise to possibly do something else. So that's the other factor, that you're also changing, not only having to change jobs, but maybe changing completely your career, the area that you will be
hmm
working in. You're not just jumping into same type of job in a different state. You're looking at maybe changing all of it.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm exploring all the different types of possibilities that are out there, as far as, do I stay in education? Do I move forward and try something different? So I am going to be looking forward to doing different volunteer opportunities, and then also going to job fairs, reaching out to different types of employers to see what fits me, in this current moment.
Excellent. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at possibly changing, maybe trying to work more remotely, looking into really doing things that I love, right? With this change for me with my health, I've definitely really looked into and thought about how I want to spend my time, right? Everyone, with you, not, I shouldn't say everyone or assume, but when you get a diagnosis like this, you do really get introspective and look at what you want to change in your life, what you want to do differently, and time becomes a huge part. How do you want to spend your time? So I'm also doing the same. I'm not changing states, but I am, doing it the same that way. But you're doing something that I've already been through. I have two grown, wonderful daughters who have been my saving grace through this cancer journey. But you're looking to, maybe you're thinking about maybe trying to start a family as well.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm going to be very honest with you guys. My previous job that I was doing was not feasible in having a family. Half of the time I was spending, commuting and going back and forth in traffic in downtown. So it was very difficult. And my husband and I, we want to start a family. So that's something that, we're going to explore. Hopefully it happens. I am getting a little older, so there's always that worry too. And as you know, throughout this podcast, you're going to realize that I am a worrier. Yes, I worry a lot.
And I think, okay, so then talk about some of the differences, right? So jumping in there, so some of the differences, right? That my daughters are grown. I'm a Gen Xer through and through. All the
Mhm.
stereotypes, I'm right here. And my girls are grown. And so you starting a family, I think that's just going to be a wonderful journey because I think having been through all of that, it's really interesting to talk with and remember back like your concerns and stress when you're going through all of that. So for me, and hopefully for a lot of our listeners out there who are my age, who are Gen Xers, I think it's going to be fun to take this journey with you. And also to hopefully they're joining us going on the journey with me and their journey at my age, our age, as to what they're doing, as I kind of call it, at this next stage of their life when the kids are out of the house. I have one in grad school and the other one who is will be graduating from college this June. So they're going to really be completely gone and on their in their own lives, which is I'm so happy for both of them. But it does free you up, right? So I'm in a very different place. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But then some of the differences. Kind of that we're talking about not only
Mhm.
age and starting a family versus your family kind of being off your own, some of the similarities are we're both trying to find more joy in our life, right? We're both trying to make
Yes.
choices, purposeful choices in our lives that change our lives to be more joyful, to be just happier in our day-to-day lives. And we're making some big changes, but we've also want to kind of delve
Mhm.
into just making some little everyday changes that really just make every day a little happier.
Yeah, yeah. And by no means am I an expert. This is all kind of going through the different, trying different things and really exploring, because I think when you age, sometimes you forget to explore
Yes.
and you're just so set in a specific routine that it just becomes a routine without any fun. So at the moment I am definitely exploring, and I know Christine has a lot of examples that she will be providing us, and also within our research we'll be reaching out to different resources, or looking at different resources to ensure that we can get some good strategies to help us find our joy.
Well, I'm going to say I'm definitely an expert at ways to fail at it because I try everything. So, as we were saying differences, you were saying you're a worrier. I'm the opposite. I just think that a lot of Gen Xers, I shouldn't speak for all, and I'm sure we're going to get comments and emails. Please remember, do send us emails on everything that you want to say. We're on all the social media spots, and you can email us at I created a life I love at gmail.com. So email away. But I just don't worry. I think I've been through so much trauma in my life and so many really difficult situations starting with my childhood. I have a lot of similarities with a lot of Gen Xers out there that we basically raised ourselves. Like we were the generation. Have you ever seen those ads, right? That do you know where your children are?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, I've seen a lot of postings of those all over social media, but that was my generation. That those were legit questions to parents asking if they knew. And I, as a mother, can't even imagine that. And I've talked to a lot of other Gen Xers, and how we raised our kids is very different. But
Extremely.
Yeah, but the biggest factor is I think when you go through all that and kind of know it's up to you, you've got to do it, you've got to handle it, you've got to take care of yourself, you got to bond with the kids around you and take care of each other, your siblings, etc. That you just
Mhm.
I don't know, I didn't see a lot of us as worriers because we were already in it. We like the worst had already happened. Like I feel like we were already in the traumatic situations where we were just left outside and told to deal with it. And if we got hurt, I mean, I once had a fracture on my wrist for 48 hours, I think, before I was brought into the doctor. I fell out of a tree fort at probably way too young of an age that I should have even been up there. But again, that's what happened. And I was told, oh, you're fine. It's not broken and just deal with it for quite a while. But so I think when you go through that you get this grittiness about you, that worry doesn't come in as much. So that's one of the differences between us. So I think it'll be interesting to see just in the challenges we go through the way you approach it versus how I approach it, because nothing's right
Yeah,
or wrong, right? It's all of us just going through our own journey. And that's what I love. And I hope everyone who joins us on this journey, there's no judgment unless you're hurting somebody else. There is zero judgment to anything here. We're
yeah,
not here at all to judge. I believe that we're all here to do life and to live life did the best we can to grow and to figure it out, and no one knows. Like we have a
exactly.
lot of people that you can get advice from. There's a lot of, I think, really intelligent people out there. There's a lot of spiritual people out there. But
Mhm.
as we all know, no one actually knows. Because no one, like, right? It's all us doing our best and putting our best foot forward. And
Yeah,
I think we can just learn from each other, but there shouldn't be any judgment. And there definitely is no
exactly.
judgment on this
Yeah.
show.
And like you said, it learning from each other is the biggest thing. I think that's where you get your advice. And so through our interactions with each other, we're also going to, learn to find those moments of joy and then also learn from other people that may join our podcast as well
Yeah.
to learn from them as well. So it's a whole learning opportunity and
Yeah.
we are excited to take this journey with you guys.
Yeah, and use us as the guinea pigs. You can definitely use me because I'll mess it up a lot. and and I'm fine with that. That's the other thing. I don't really have a fear of failure. I think I'm willing to go out there and try whatever. If I think it might work, it might bring some joy into our lives. So I'll be your I'll be your guinea pig. It's fine. So, as our first little segment, we are kind of going to do a what's up and just kind of check in with exactly where we are each week. I am just finishing up or just had my second cancer surgery. I'm not going to go into all the details, but it went well. But it is a really slow healing process. I'm still not able to do a lot. I kind of pump myself up and get myself going for definitely for these podcasts while I'm here at home, which has been just a bright light. And Jeanette's been a bright light in my life getting through that, as well as so many other friends. So it's been wonderful. But yeah, there's quite a bit of pain, quite a lot of sickness right after, a number of days in the hospital, and then being sick for quite a bit. But we're through that part and, mostly still down and healing. But the healing is all happening. I mean, after my first surgery, I kind of rushed it and got in too fast, and we did
Mhm.
have a infection and had to go back into the hospital, and there were some issues from that surgery. So I'm really trying to make sure that I'm taking the time that I need to really make sure I heal and go a little slower, I think, than I did the first time. This was more extensive too, and there's
Yes, please.
and there's some more follow up yeah, with this one. So yeah, I'm trying to be better, Jeanette. I do get told quite a bit that I need to stop and slow down. I'm kind of the energizer bunny, and I do like to go 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 and get up and go, but I'm trying to be good.
Yes. let me give you a little background of why I say, yes, please take your time. The first surgery, Christine took a couple of weeks and then she returned back to work. And I know she just wanted to be with us. And, it was during Halloween time and it was a fun time. So she came back during that week of Halloween, and then afterwards, a week later, she went back on bed rest. So she definitely needs you. You definitely need to take your time to heal, please.
Well, and I think I will say, as I am learning through all of this, right? This whole podcast is about growth and learning, that delving a little deeper into why I wanted to go back so fast, if I'm being honest with myself, I think was kind of the denial of that I was going to allow cancer to affect me. Like I was
Hmm.
going to be like, okay, yes, I have cancer and I have to do all these things for the next foreseeable future, but it's not really going to change me, right? So I think I was in this kind of state of denial. And as I'm learning for me, and again, nothing that I say should be applied to somebody else if it's not for you. If it can inspire you and you're on some type of journey with your health, then that's great. But if it can't, ignore it and do your own thing. You ignore and do your own thing. But for me, what I've learned is that I really am. I need to stick true to what I started this podcast with and what I really said I was going to do when I was diagnosed with cancer, which is I'm going to go on this journey and use this journey to help change my life for the better and to bring me more joy. And if I'm kind of
Hmm.
denying it, right? If I'm trying to pretend, oh, I'm through this part. I got through this part. And if I'm just setting goals and jumping through hoops to get through it, I'm not really learning anything from it. I'm not really growing and I'm not letting it change me. Instead, I'm fighting the change. And I do want this experience to change me. I don't want to get through the cancer and survive cancer. And I'm exactly the same as I was before. Like,
Yeah,
that to
yeah,
me would be really sad because I do think going through something this big should change you. It should open up new perspectives for me to be more empathetic, me to be more loving, me to be more aware of how I spend my time, me to be more
yeah.
purposeful with my encounters with other people, like me to gain friendships, gain strength in who I am as a person, all like all of that, right? Like I don't want
Yeah.
to go through this whole experience and not be different. I want to be different at the end. So I'm really trying to slow down this time, get
Uh-huh.
my body again, as it's greatly changing and will be changing even more because I do have a third surgery yet coming in between with other procedures. So, but I do want to change through this. And I can't do that if I'm rushing past it, if that makes any sense.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And you have this opportunity of time to really focus on yourself
Yeah.
and heal yourself and, you know, breathe because you need to breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that comes from my upbringing as well. I came from a German family and I came from a family that it was all about what you do. Like every Saturday morning, we were up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., not probably not 5, but like 6 a.m. and we were doing chores. And it has always been about what we've accomplished. And I'm not saying that I
Mhm.
haven't been loved and all of that. I have, but there was definitely a pride in how much you could get done in a day and how much you
Yeah.
could accomplish and healing quickly and getting past things and being tough. And I think that's fine. I think it's good to challenge yourself to be the best you can be, but I also think you miss a lot if that's your only way of getting self-worth. Like that shouldn't
Mhm.
what I accomplish and what I do every day shouldn't be the end all and be all at all. And that to do list and checking everything off, I'm really changing that whole idea for me. Actually, there's a couple books I'm reading, which we'll share with our listeners as we go through here, but about not being so worried about what I do, but who I am. And
Mhm.
that's been a shift that I'm trying to have and really focus on. and making sure that I really know what brings me joy right now. Like all those little details of what brings me joy that I think I talked about in my second podcast as personalizing your joy, and what music do you wake up to, or what coffee cup are you using, or what flowers do you have in your house, or what slippers are you wearing. Like all these little details can make you smile throughout the day and bring you joy. And it's easy for everyone to do, to kind of inspect their life and see if they're just going through their day, rushing through it, or if they're
Yeah.
making all these little moments count.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's it's difficult because I know exactly what you mean, as far as wanting to make a list and complete it, a checklist, and live life like that.
Right.
But it's not. It's also, taking a step back and enjoying those moments, and really, because time is so short, it really is. And, we, every day is a blessing that you are alive and you're breathing and you have those moments to share with others and to really gain on those moments, because those are what truly matters.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Hmm.
All right. Well, so you were going to, do you want to mention here before we get into our topic? Our topic today is going to be about getting through difficult moments. But what's up this week? You're packing and getting ready to move. Yes.
Yeah. And, my topic kind of bleeds into our next topic, the difficult moments as well, is that just packing and getting everything ready, it's going through these moments in my life, the good and the bad, but also like saying goodbye to what my current life is. It's really difficult because I currently live in Los Angeles, very close to the ocean, and I'm going to miss it. I'm
Yeah.
going to miss it so much. And just missing that, missing my family, missing my coworkers. And I think I feel like, oh no, is this okay? Is this, going to be okay? Like I said earlier, I'm a worry wart, and I just have so many thoughts in my head that sometimes it's hard to filter out all the negative, or to go through those negative thoughts as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it's just because I've been in education for so long. Is it okay to change? Is it okay to explore? But I definitely going through the motions, and packing up is tough.
Yeah.
It's a lot of boxes and it's overwhelming. And I'm sure everybody who has moved, in their life, I'm sure everybody has. It's stressful,
Yeah.
and it's extremely stressful when you're going across the state. I know Vegas is not far from Los Angeles. It's not like I'm moving completely across the country. Kudos to those who have. Oh man, it is intense. And, I can only get a little piece of what you guys experience. So, yeah.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Well, I left college and moved from Minnesota to Los Angeles and knew nobody, zero.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, anyone who's done it knows it's not easy. And it's not easy as an adult to make new friends and, leaving family. And especially if you're thinking of starting your own family, like not having that family support around you, all of those are
Yes.
difficult things. So, you are
Yeah.
on a journey, my friend, and we're all here for you. So, I think it'll be interesting, and trying to find joy. So yeah, as we transition over into our topic of getting through difficult moments, I think what my suggestion would be, or what I've found in going through my difficult moments of late, is really allowing yourself to feel it and then let it go. So, because otherwise it keeps coming back around. So, if you
Yeah.
are going through a difficult moment, you all, like many of my first thoughts were, am I going to die? Am I going to, what's going to happen to my daughters? And then when I learned that, that it wasn't terminal, but it was going to be a long road, was, how is my body going to change? Because with all these surgeries and cutting, it's going to be a huge transition and change,
Yeah.
and a lot of things might happen to my body along the way, you can really start to go down a rabbit hole, right? And just swirl around of what if, blah blah blah. So my first goal is let yourself feel the fear and let those thoughts come in and have them, but just make sure to be fair and give the other side of the coin as much time. So if I would allow myself 5 minutes to say, okay, you're just going to take 5 minutes here and cry, listen to a sad song, feel sorry for yourself, take this time, curl up with one of my dogs and just have a moment. Go ahead, have it. And feel your feelings. That's being alive. We're being
Yeah.
human. That's fine. But then I would force myself to have 5 minutes of what if I become blah 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 after cancer? What if this happens? What if I become stronger after cancer? What if I meet some great friends in that? What if I fall in love through cancer after love? What if I like my body better after
The
cancer? What if,
possibilities.
so I just went completely the other way, whether I believed it or not, didn't matter, but I at least gave myself the exact same amount of time to take the worry to the celebration of positive. So if I gave myself 5 minutes to feel sad and sorry for myself and depressed a little bit about what was happening to me, then made myself take 5 minutes where I put on a happy song, where I danced as much as I could move around, but danced around or listened to something happy and laughing and wrote down or at least said to myself all of the what if blah 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 happens, or all the good things,
Yeah. Yeah.
all the positives. But so that's the first thing I would say to anyone going through a difficult time, a challenging time, is have your sad moments, have your moments of worry, have your moments of doubt, whatever it is, have them, but just make sure that you give the same amount of time to flipping the switch and what could be possible, what the
Yeah.
other side of the coin is. And the next thing is that I think the biggest thing about any situation that I'm really, really working on that has changed my life, and this is a lot, and I think I mentioned this in the other podcast, but if not, came from Dr. Michael Singer's book, which is The Untethered Soul. That's what it's called, The Untethered Soul. And he really, really talks about our need of judgment as humans and to try and suspend it as much as we can. So, toward others, of course, and we're going to get into that in a number of our upcoming podcasts, but also about situations. And so, one that you don't automatically go that it's good or bad. So, and it's not always easy to do. And some people out there are going to go, she's crazy. And that's fine. That won't be the first time I'm called that. But that when I got cancer, that really not trying to say, oh my God, it's bad, trying to say, okay, this is just part of my journey here on earth. And how do I use it? What can I do? So I think if you don't see a situation as bad, if you try and just see it as neutral and be open to it and say, what's going to happen? If you just ask, instead of what if this happens, the other question, and doing both sides of the coin, the other question to ask yourself is just what's going to happen? And it
Hmm.
not, you know what I mean? And just not answering. Like, I just want to be open to whatever is going to happen. And if you can put yourself in that space, I think it's interesting. You can be more objective, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. And it's something that is good for any situation too, as far as like, what are the possibilities of, if I gear it to my certain situation of moving to Vegas, right?
Right.
And what are the possibilities that I'm going to explore? What could happen, and I really like your suggestion of doing those 5 minutes of, like, okay, I'm going to be sad that I'm going to have these moments where I get FOMO, which is fear of missing out.
Right.
And then I'm going to have moments of, wow, I I would have never done this if I didn't move,
Right.
like exploration and all that stuff. So, yeah, just really looking at the situation and giving yourself both moments is
Yeah.
really important.
Yeah, and I think the more that you can separate yourself from your mind, which again is a whole nother thing that Dr. Singer goes into, your mind tends to go protective and negative a lot. Like it's much
Yeah.
easier to get those negative thoughts a lot. So you have to really, really work at objectivity and separating yourself from those thoughts and not accepting them as reality because those
Mhm.
are just thoughts. They are not your reality. And especially when you're worrying, like those are just what ifs. As you know from
Mhm.
anyone who's ever worried, when you've looked back at a situation and you've gotten through it, if did all of your worries happen? No. So your thoughts aren't reality. Your thoughts are not
Yeah.
predicting the future. They're not predicting the future. They are just concerns that you're having. So making
Yeah.
sure that you know that they are not reality, that they are only what ifs, they're only concerns that you're having, really not giving them more power than they deserve. And it's not
Yeah.
easy. It's not easy.
It's not. And I feel that when I was younger, I was a lot more braver and a lot, more willing to try different things and explore. And now that I got older, I feel like it's a coping mechanism, as far as feeling worried and having fear. I don't know. It's something that I do to it's kind of like a pessimistic view of like, oh, this is the worst that can happen. So I don't get to that worst part. And then, it's a bad coping, mechanism that I have. And I think I need to gear away from that because it just has increased my worry and
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Well, I think a lot of therapy that they have you go down that what if pattern. They're like, okay, well, what if this happens? Then what if? And they take you all the way to the, possible end of it. And you get
yeah,
to the end of it going, see, you still will somehow deal with it. You know what I mean? To try and have you
yeah,
face your fears in that way. So I think that's important, testing those what ifs. But I think it's also interesting to just flip the what ifs, to completely go the opposite way or to not or to just even not ask what if but to ask what might happen, what
yeah,
might what possibly can happen and just be open to what is going to happen and try and keep open and curious.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, so the book, our monthly resource that we're going to talk about today is so I did mention Dr. Singer, and that's an amazing book. So I highly suggest that. But the book that we're doing for today is called The Hidden Messages in Water. So possibly you guys might know about this book. I've heard about it already. It's from Mr. Emoto. He is a doctor, just an amazing scientist. It's just really interesting. And it's been on the New York Times bestseller list. And it's just so interesting. They're short books, and we're going to talk about the next one next week. But the first one is The Hidden Messages in Water. And I just really hope you take the time and read it. It's very interesting. Some people have liked it, some people have disagreed with it, whatever. But again, we're just trying to be open again and curious about
Uh-huh.
different mindsets out there, and different ideas. And he really talks about all the different scientific testing they've done and research they've done with water and what happens to water when you speak to water, when you put words around water. And I just think it's so cool because I think you can't turn on social media or pick up or go into the bookstore without seeing something about the power of our words, right? The power of the words we tell ourselves, for our
Yeah.
own health and for our own positivity and outcome in life. And then we've all known like the power of words with plants. And if
Mhm.
you talk to plants, right, or sing to plants or play music for plants, that they grow better than if they don't. So I think we're continuously growing and evolving, seeing the energy that you bring to a situation, the words that you bring to any situation or person affect the world that you live in. And this is just another one of those factors. This is another cool book about how these scientists talk to certain, water or different petri dishes and stuff they put together or put words around water and how the water changed and crystals, how the crystals looked in these different situations, whether it was positive words or negative words. And it's just once again reinforcing, I think, that your overall attitude and the words you use consistently in your life, whether it be about a situation or to your environment or to yourself, is hugely important.
Interesting. That sounds like a lot of cool research about water that I would never even have thought of,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
All right. Now, a moment of joy.
Yeah.
So it relates to what I talked about earlier about the whole move. So before we found a place out in Vegas, we actually were in the process of looking for a place, and it took us quite a while, and it was really stressful too. However, during one of our trips out here, we actually went to a festival called the Rise Festival, where you have the lanterns and you light them and they
Nice.
float in the air. So, what I'm sharing with you guys today is my picture of my lantern as it floats into the air. And there's different ways that you can decorate your lantern, and you can write whatever you want. Some people write things that they want to, give away, send off negative energy, or things they want to accomplish, or things that they wish for. And so it was really cool because they give you two lanterns. I thought it was just one, and it's a little pricey, but after the whole experience, it was so worth it because, I got the two lanterns and just feeling the vibe with everybody. And when we were at the Lantern Festival, some of the music that we were playing was just really calming and,
Nice.
music and reflective music, if you want to say. But, a lot of people were like letting their emotions out, and, some were very emotional. Some were
That's so
extremely
cool.
emotional.
I've always wanted to do something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I encourage you guys to go, at least once in your life, or it doesn't have to be this specific festival. It can be a different one. And it's just a great reflective moment to spend in a big crowd of people. And everybody is going through something, and it gives you that reassurance that, you're not alone.
That's so
Yeah.
cool. I love that.
Uh-huh.
That's very cool. Well, mine is, as we're going to throw it up on the screen here, mine is just of my three dogs. And this was years ago when we had to dress them up. It was for my daughter's softball team in college. And they were doing this social media post of all the supporters of the softball team. And so we were all doing our dogs and we threw them in stuff. But, and the one dog in the middle there, Kona, is no longer with us. But Shadow and Zito are both there. And I just think it's so funny with them all dressed up and they're so cute. And Shadow and Zito have been my mainstay through my cancer diagnosis. I think pets are another way, which we really didn't even get into, but I think everybody knows and is such a great way to help you through a difficult moment. Animals are just wonderful and they've definitely been there for me when I've needed, haven't left my side and when I've felt, really crappy in bed and in a lot of pain and stuff like that, just to have them to cuddle up to and with you. It just is an amazing feeling to have that energy with you. So I wouldn't be getting through my cancer journey here without their love and companionship. So that is my moment of joy for this week. So if you have a moment of joy, hopefully you'll participate with us each week and think of what your big moment of joy was or small moment of joy. Hopefully you're having one every day. Again, we have tons of great journals where you can write down in daily pages where you can keep track and write down what your moments of joy were throughout the day, throughout the week, to keep that in your mindset. So you're having that gratitude gratitude. You're noticing the moments. I think that's really important to bring more moments of joy into your life. So please, if you're participating with us and interacting with us with your moments of joy, email us your picture. We will put it up on our website, icreatedalifeilove.com. And the email is icreatedalifeilove at gmail.com. So send us your moment of joy. We have nature things in there. We have animal pics and pets pictures in there, and then our separate moments of joy. So we'll throw your picture up somewhere. So please send that because, of course, usually someone else's moment of joy will make you feel joyful too. So sharing joy is a great way to make yourself smile. On that note, we will be starting. So I'm so excited that we're having our Monday Minutes. Our Monday Minutes are up on YouTube and they're up on Pinterest. We're also throwing them up on social media, but it's just a way for you to take a minute in your life. So many times throughout our day, we can have our intention that we're going to be focused on joy or we're going to be focused on gratitude and we're going to, have a great day. And we start out with this attitude, but you get to lunch and you're ready to kill somebody. Like things happen, right? We're all human and things happen. And so our Monday minutes, which can be used throughout all the entire week, obviously, and throughout the day, we're just calling them Monday minutes because we're releasing a new one every Monday, are approximately a minute long. And it's just calming, soothing nature sounds or music with some really wonderful, positive words over it for you to look at and focus on and just take a break from work for 1 minute, refocus yourself, take your day back, make sure that it's you're living up to what you want the day to live up to, your intention, your purpose, and that you're creating those moments of joy for you throughout the day. So that will be up starting this week as well.
Yeah, and our next topic for next week is we will be talking about the finding joy in games. So let the games begin.
Hey,
So it's going to be a great one.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I love this because I'm a gamer. I love like all types of games. So I'm so excited. I'm probably too competitive for my own good, which Jeanette's gonna share with everybody next week. But I love it. I'm so excited. Yay.
Well, thank you, everyone. We will see you next week.
Have a good week, everybody, and go out and create a life you love. Bye.
Bye.